Alright, in this video here, we're going to keep building on our little UI. I want to start making this text area here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make another panel to hold all of this stuff. Now I want the panel to sit kind of in that area here, and then I'll put all the text underneath it in Unity. So if I come back to Unity here, I don't want it to be under my weather icon holder. I want another panel under my canvas again. So I'm going to go UI, and I will say panel, and I call this weather information. Now you can see it's actually gone over all of my UI that's already there. If I click and drag it above in the hierarchy, you'll see it actually drops below. So whatever, the higher it is in the hierarchy, the further back it gets pushed. Now, it doesn't really matter too much right now. I'm actually going to make this like a bit darker so I can see where I want the panel. First things first, I want this to actually, remember we were talking about anchors before, I want the anchor position or the reference that it goes from to be the dead middle of the screen. So I went here, I'm holding Alt, I'm going bang, dead middle. You see my anchors actually changed to there. So it's going to look to that dead middle part of the screen before it actually starts to figure out where it needs to put the UI. So I'm going to drag my panel in here, drag this up. So essentially, in here is where I want all of my text to go. Okay, the reason this is, or I'm making this, is again, you'll see if I start to resize my screen, it actually fits all in that space. Helps us resize automatically if that's what we're going to do. Okay, now I don't really want this grey background. I want it just to be a nice transparent background here. This is purely just for holding all of my information for my text. So I'm going to turn the image part off. But you see up here, you can still see that it is anchored and where it's actually sitting in the wireframe. You can, if I go to shaded mode, you can see a whole bunch of different things. I can turn off and on all different types of the UI. Let me just see if I can find. I can't remember how to turn off the funny little background there. There we go. So I've turned off the background there just because I want it to be nice and no fuss, but I still want to see my images sitting there. So here I have my weather information. I want to start putting in all my text. Let's see what information I need. I might actually swap this around. I might say sunny, whatever it is at the top, and then I might say, whoops, underneath it, the day, and then the rest can stay. So I'm going to right click on weather information. I'm going to go to UI, and I'm going to go to text because I want to create a new text object. You see it's actually done that for me. If I go, oh, it's nice and little right now. That's all right. We're going to make it a bit bigger. But first things first, we can see this is anchored kind of the top left of the box that it's in. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to set its little anchor point up to the top left here. Now what I want it to actually do is I want it to span the whole width if possible. So I'm going to hold Alt and click do it and see how it pulls my little anchor points all the way out. And I'm going to set a height here. Let's make it so it can be a little bit taller. Let's make it 150, maybe 150 high. So anchor at the top there. So now let's start writing some text, shall we? I'm going to say sunny. It's quite small there. I might make it bold and go to font size and bring it up so it's nice and big. And there we go. I've got some text. I can just change that over in the side here. Now you can see I've also the option of adding fonts as well. I don't have any other font files in here, so we don't worry too much about that right now. We'll do that another time. But I can also do things like change the color of this text, so I might actually change it so it's kind of blue to match that. And I'm going to change this to be weather text for now. So cool. There's my weather. Now I want the day. So I'm actually going to go Control D to duplicate that. I'm going to call this one day text because I want it to say what day it is for this particular text. Now, if I want to, I can actually just move this down underneath, and it still anchors to the top, but you'll see it's actually kind of moved its position down the height of the text above it. So now, if I, again, keep changing all this stuff in here, doesn't actually affect its position, and I've got some little text for the day. Okay, what else do I have? I want the low and the high. Now, I want them to be a little bit smaller, the low and the high. So I'm going to go Control D to duplicate again. Click it, drag it so it goes down here. But I only want it to be, say 100 high, which means I'm going to bring my font size down a bit. I might bring it to 80. And I'm going to say low of 20 degrees. So here I'm going to call this low text, duplicate that, drag it down, snaps in. High text, I'm going to say high of 31 degrees. Here, and what was the last thing I was adding? Oh, and the location. So I'm going to go here, location, text. Again, all I'm doing is making text here. Drop that in there, and I'm going to say Miami, Queensland. Now I might decide that I want to actually snap all this to the bottom of my panel. So let's see what that might look like. I'm going to kind of change my panel a little bit here, make it a little bit taller. Let's say in my location text I want it to snap down to the bottom. So I can go to my anchors again. I can look for the bottom, expand the width, click that. And now, I might do that for all of these three actually. Now, they're going to align closer to the bottom. So you'll see if I actually change the height, it still keeps that nice gap between the top and the bottom in my view here. So I've essentially been able to add some text in there, change their values, change their size, all that kind of stuff fairly easily. I might actually make this not italic, make it normal for now. And there we go. I've got kind of that part of my UI set up. So that's adding text to the UI and a little bit more work with the anchors. Next, we're going to move on to some buttons.